It'll stop bouncing. All right.
Disclaimer. Cheers. Happy Tuesday. Catchy.
Hi, this is Matt Barbie with Time for Success Business Owner Moms Edition. And again, I'm a speaker, author, and strategist, and I love to help people create businesses that work without them and help them and their families have the dreams that they've always dreamt of. And we're sponsored by Damsel in Defense, Linda Baker. Linda Baker with Damsel in Defense. Helpful safety products for the man, the woman, kids in your life. And this week, we've got Kay Sonderegger. Hi, Kay. How's it going?
Hi.
With Made You Look.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So please tell me a little bit more about your business. What do you do?
My business is basically bringing your brand and what you're good at, your niche, out to the public.
Great.
So a lot of people, they know what they're good at, but they don't really know how to express that. And a lot of times people are like, well, I have the best quality, the best service, and the best prices. And that, of course, is something we hear from all businesses. Yeah. So we kind of get down into, what really sets you apart, what really makes you different, and what really is your passion, so that we can forward that on to the audience and create a genuine connection to the people that you're speaking to. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah. So basically making your business a representation of who you are and how you want to serve folks, right?
Absolutely.
That's excellent. Now, so tell me a little bit more about your family as well.
My family. So I have a very sassy, very fabulous 12-year-old who's going on 22, as most of them I think are these days. And I met my husband in 1998. Yeah. Moved here from Arizona for the summer. And I had
how's that going for you?
pretty good so
one
far.
Heck of a summer, yeah.
Yeah, one heck of a summer. Not so much outside today.
Right. It's a very snowy summer.
Yes, very snowy. So I moved here from Arizona. I grew up in Wisconsin, and I did this side gig in Arizona where I drove horse and carriage, because everyone does that at some point in their life.
If you haven't, you should, right?
Right, yeah. Absolutely. But I did it in Wisconsin. I did it in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I came here for the summer and drove in for my 24-hour drive, which I split up a little bit, and walked in, and I saw Brian, and he was shoveling shit in a stall. I don't know if I can say that on live Facebook, but I did.
No. Yeah, he's making a note right now to bleep that out. Right. So, I mean, the Facebook is what it is, but the radio station, that's another thing.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. Anyway, so he's shoveling horse manure, and I said, oh, you will be mine. And that's how I ended up here in St. Louis. And that's a short, somewhat
abbreviated version.
Abbreviated and, creative version of the
story. Right. Mm-hmm. So is that still what he does to this day? Is he still shoveling?
He has started his own... I can't say that.
I stopped.
He started his own construction company and has done really well. He built our house and has built a few houses, but mainly is really good at kitchens and baths. And again, communicating with the client, what do they need, what do they not need, and just kind of making their house more into a home. And it's really fun. Has a lot of passion for it.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, loving what he does.
Yes.
So then, you've got two businesses in the family, so that's got to keep you pretty busy.
Yes.
So for your family, for yourself and for your family, how do you all define success?
That's a really good question. And I have to say that my idea of success has definitely changed over the years. It used to be work, sit on the couch and work at night and, kind of talk to the family on the side. And I've changed that a lot. And it's really made a difference, not only in my personal life, but in my business life. Yeah. There's so much good advice out there about time blocking and about really taking the time to do the things you want to do, putting walks on the calendar with your daughter, you know, date nights, and just really balancing that a little bit more. And as an entrepreneur who owns 2 businesses and sometimes helps with my husband's, there's never enough time.
Right.
But when you flip that switch in your mind that there is enough time and create that mindset, everything just turns out better. There's so much more joy. It's amazing. Yeah.
So you flip that switch and you say there's enough time. So I know a lot of people really struggle with that, and they kind of might just be okay, I just flip the switch.
Blah,
blah. Right. Yeah. So how did you get to the point? Because I'm guessing you probably weren't always of that mindset where you can just flip the switch.
Not till recently, honestly.
What was the difference? Like how did that happen for you?
Well, first of all, I realized I couldn't flip the switch myself.
Okay.
You know, you're trying to read these self-help books and you're doing things and you're kind of getting there, but not really.
Yeah.
So I went outside and looked for some help, some coaching and some ideas, and also talked to other entrepreneurs in one-to-ones and said, how do you do it? You know, and I've got some really great advice. And at first it sounds like, yeah, I can't do that, right? But then you're like, I'm just going to try it for a week. And all of a sudden you can do that. Yeah. And the things that you thought were so important and so deadline oriented maybe aren't. Right. And you just become a more valuable person in your business, in your life, and there's more of a genuineness to others. And it's just it's a really neat transformation. It was hard for me. I'm very type A. I'm very process oriented. Sometimes I over process, you know, but the new me is just all about the experience, and it'll turn out, it'll work out. It's neat.
Okay. Well, that's great. So you're about the experience, kind of about being in the moment. Is that kind of what you would? Yes.
And having authenticity and integrity and connecting with people in a way that is going to help everyone, if that makes sense. Sometimes there's a lot of minutia that comes along with, especially owning a business. Yeah. And I'm sure you understand this. And you just kind of have to zone in on what's important and enjoy what you're doing while you're doing it. And then it becomes more genuine and more successful, just kind of by itself. Yeah. It's a weird phenomenon. But I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds to me like there's a lot of folks out there who have they have a lot of anxiety, right? Because they're always thinking about what's coming next, or what didn't go right last week.
That was this girl.
Okay.
Yeah. For sure. Yes.
So some of that mind shift coaching, that transformation coaching, is something that helped you.
It did. Excellent. And actually, I used to sit at my desk and work, and I'd email people. I would try even not to call them. Yeah. It's more efficient to email. It's more efficient to, and I started networking about 1.5 years ago. Didn't even really know what true networking was. I did it all the time. Yeah. But I didn't really understand the referral process and connecting, and when I started that's when things really started to open up, because there's so many people that are so much smarter than you, but so willing to give and so willing to help for no, like givers gain, like nothing back to them. And that's when I understood that those are the things that are important. So the anxiety slowed down. And the things that I was running around, they talk about, millennials like to tell us that we're just busy. We're busy and we're busy. Right. And it's like, well, how do you not get busy? And then you just start thinking about it and you start doing it, and all of a sudden you're not that busy and you're having real connections and you're learning from people that are smarter than you. And it's like you. Here I am learning from you, Matt Barbie.
Well, we're learning from you today, right? I'm interviewing you. Yeah. So what were some of the big game-changing things that you put in place? Now, was it? I mean, time blocking is a common thing. But I think it kind of also plays out a little bit differently for everybody.
Sure.
How do you use time blocking in your life?
Well, I try not to be real strict with it, right? Yeah. Because you can overprocess that too. Yeah. Generally, what I do is I schedule meetings on 2 days a week. Okay. I try to leave Mondays as open as I can to just do stuff, get things done in my business. And then I also try to spend some time working on my business instead of in my business. And so sometimes you have to branch out and trust other people to do some things. And again, for a type A person, that can be really difficult. But when you start to let go and trust and build relationships with people that work, that's when all of that starts falling into place. So I think it's different for everyone, the process.
Yeah.
But when you find something that works, you kind of hang on to it and you appreciate it. And you have gratitude for how that's changing your business and your life. And you continue to have that gratitude, and then it's going to build into what you personally need. Because everyone is really different.
Yeah, yeah. Are there any particular tools that you use that are really helping you to manage your time better? Is it a certain type of daily planner, or is it like a certain type of calendar, or a certain type of CRM? Like, what is helping you?
I'm struggling with the CRM, actually. That's one of the things that I want to organize and simplify, and I'm still kind of working on that. So if anybody's got any good ideas, I'm willing to hear that. But
put it in the comments section.
Yeah, in the comments section. Yes, please. Just, simple. Here's a business card, Matt Barbie. It's in my CRM. I know who you are and how we met, and that you're in BNI or whatever the case may be.
Sure.
But besides that, I think one of the biggest things that has changed my life is deciding to get up in the morning and own the day instead of the day owning you.
Yeah.
And I actually went to a retreat last weekend. I don't know if you know Angie Monko.
Yeah.
Harbor.
Wonderful lady. Wonderful.
So she's been helping me with a lot of these transformations, and we got together as a group and spent all weekend together. And that was one of my biggest takeaways is, does anyone have time to get up and meditate, and do some exercising and do some things that they really need? No. But when you make time, you are owning the day.
Yeah.
And that has been something that's really changed for me. And the time blocking, I keep it loose. I have kind of a calendar, but it's more like today I do this and today I do that. I also try to shut down, somewhere around 5 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And there's always a temptation to do more and get this done in social media. But I do try to shut down, and I find myself, again, to be more productive. So those are kind of the three things that have helped me focus in on being more strategic with my time.
Yeah.
More efficient.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, because a lot of people talk about wanting to, meditate or trying to get up early and all that. I started a program for that for folks that I work with, but I call it the 5 a.m. Alliance. But, we get up, we talk about our goals, there's some accountability, and then we actually do like some mindset meditation like you're talking about to get it going.
Yeah.
Then we do an optional Bible study as well. So, but some of those big things, because it's like, okay, well, making the time for that people have struggled with. So now, do you have like has accountability partners worked with you, or I know sometimes people.
Good question. Yeah.
Or I guess Angie's probably kept you pretty accountable.
Angie has kept me accountable, but I did find too, there's a trainer that I worked with for a while named Courtney Tucker.
Okay.
And she does online coaching for wellness. And I'm like, how is this going to work? You're not going to meet me at the gym? What? How am I going to get my workouts done? And she explained to me that when you change your willpower to why power, right? Why am I doing this? That becomes your own accountability partner. So yes, I have to answer to Angie, and yes, I was answering to Courtney, but you don't need to go to the gym because your trainer's waiting for you, right?
Yeah.
You need to do it because it's something that you want to do. So I do believe in accountability partners and coaching and guidance, but I think when it comes down to it, there's some non-negotiable items that you just need to adapt for yourself. And yes, accountability partners are important, but if they fail, does that mean you stop? No.
Right.
You got to be your own accountability partner. I really, truly believe that.
Yeah, I love that. Now, again, it was probably a journey for you to kind of get to that point. Was there like you said that there's that it was a Courtney kind of helped you with that mindset.
Yeah.
Was there kind of like a defining moment that you can think of whenever that just kind of clicked for you?
There is. I'm so glad you asked. Do you know Mark Youthy?
Yeah.
So Mark Youthy has done a variety of coaching and Juice Plus and some different MLMs, and super good guy, super decent. He was in my BNI group when I started, and he would do the morning mindset, and every morning on Thursdays he would get up and talk about unicorns, and he would somehow work in unicorns into the morning mindset. And I thought, this guy is just a good dude, So he decided to start doing some coaching. He's like, hey, I want to do some life coaching. Will you be my guinea pig? And I'm like, oh, that sounds terrible. How much time do I have to give you? What do I have to do? So we sat down for an hour a week, which an hour a week, that's a lot of time, you know?
Yeah.
And he started going through some of the things he learned. And this light bulb went off in my head like, wait a minute, my happiness and my mood is a choice? What?
Right.
I mean, 40 years old, and I'm like just learning this, right?
Yeah.
I knew it. I've always known it. But when you focus in on the fact that that really is something that you can control, wow, that is a game changer. And so that's kind of what happened to me. And everything else just kind of works itself out once you adapt that. It's a process.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was my aha moment. That was my unicorn moment.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So when you get to that crossroads, right, and you're struggling with something is tempting you to have a bunch of anxiety about it or get frustrated with it, you say that there's a choice.
Yes.
What are the choices that you give yourself? Is it a dichotomous choice? Like what does that look like?
Honestly, the strongest thing that I have learned is that if you tell yourself, don't have anxiety, don't have anxiety, don't have anxiety, you're probably going to have anxiety, right? So there's this part of you, the ego, which the ego is not just about I'm awesome, I'm great. It sort of protects us and it controls us. And it's like, don't go there, you're going to get hurt. So when you can talk to your ego, I know that sounds silly, and embrace the fact that you are scared and you do have anxiety, then it becomes something that's not so scary anymore. So the way to sort of, I've always like, you know, don't think of a meditation. Don't think of a red balloon. Don't think of a red balloon. Don't think of a red balloon. Red balloon! You know, that's the first thing you're going to do, right? So instead, you just acknowledge that you're going there. You think about, is this important? And how is this serving me? And then you kind of pull it back into, I really don't have to feel these feelings. So, but embracing the fact that you are that way, I think. There's little parts of me that I don't like. But they're part of me. You know, and so let's not fight them. Let's be like, hey, buds, hey, let's all get along.
Right,
you
right.
know?
How can we make this work together, guys?
Yeah. So that takes a lot of pressure off that you're not doing it right. The shoulds, you know, and the what ifs and the buts and all that stuff.
Right, right. So you've kind of conquered some of those demons for yourself, right?
Yeah, getting there.
Well, you know, it's a process.
It's a process.
And sometimes life has a way of throwing some other things at us, and we get through those things too.
Yes.
That's just the way life is.
Yes.
Continual growth process. How do you help instill these values with your family?
That's a great question too. You just got the best questions. So one of the things that's been driving me nuts is my sassy, fabulous 12-year-old, who used to just be a sassy 12-year-old, but you know, we're embracing. And she would just do these things that I didn't like, not the way I raised her, you know, like wiping her face with her sleeve. I'm like, what are you doing? And I was told to look at her with love and admiration as exactly the way she is. And once I flipped that switch, our relationship changed like that day. And again, it's a process because we all know that 12 and 13 and 14, you know, is challenging and crazy, but there's a genuineness there now where I'm not attacking her for the things she does, and I'm sort of understanding, and she knows I don't like it, but there's just something that's come together that's more special. And then with my husband, Mark Youthy, told me to start a gratitude journal about things I like about him. And at the time, there wasn't a huge list when I started this journal, right? Sorry, Brian, if you're seeing this. But I started this journal, and I'm like, you know, you have nice eyes, you know. The next day would be like, your laugh is contagious, you know. And I started doing these things, and as I started appreciating these little things, they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And all of a sudden, Brian was amazing. And I was amazing, and we were amazing. And it's like, you just have to really, you have to appreciate what you have, not what you don't have, or what you wish would be. And that's a big changer for me. And it's really helped me grow both of my businesses and, you know, just become a better person, I guess, altogether.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Now, did your husband also start a gratitude journal? Did you?
I don't think so, but he felt it. You know, he felt the appreciation. I didn't even tell him about the journal for the longest time. And
is this the first he's hearing of it?
No, I've told him since then. But yeah, it's really, and I continue to do my gratitude journal, and also an appreciation journal. What do I appreciate about me? Because sometimes we're the hardest on ourselves.
Self-appreciation journal.
Yeah. What instead of selling myself short, appreciating the things that I'm good at and letting those kind of flow and grow and be helpful to others.
Yeah, I've often heard it said, and I say it to people all the time, like if you ever talk to people the way that you talk to yourself, you would have no friends, right?
Or sometimes the way you talk to your family, right?
Right,
We're they're the ones we treat the worst a lot of times. So
kind of shortchange them. They should just understand.
Yeah, come on, you know me. Just don't. If I'm beating you up, just deal with it.
Right.
Not cool.
yeah. I mean, it's so easy to slip into that.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
So that gratitude journal. I mean, a lot of people kind of, ignore or just kind of throw off these kind of ideas because they sound kind of like kind of silly,
Agreed.
frou type stuff. Okay, I can just power on.
Yeah.
But would you say that it kind of started to change your perception a little bit, maybe?
Absolutely. That's the key.
Yeah.
You just, you get past this is stupid. Like when I was doing those coaching sessions with Mark, I'm just like, oh gosh, this sounds fruity. This is crazy. This is weird. But you take little pieces and you're like, well, what if I did do that? And then your perception does change. And I mean, there's an endless amount of stuff you can do, right? You could read self-help books. You could spend your whole life trying to improve K.
Right.
But as long as you stay to a couple of those things and you make it a non-negotiable every day, I think that's what kind of keeps things going.
That's good.
Yeah.
A non-negotiable. I'm going to do this regardless.
Yeah.
Of how whiny I want to be about it.
Yeah. And don't make it a should, make it a I get to. That's the other part, right?
Yeah.
I should write my gratitude journal. I get to write in my gratitude journal.
So you would literally say that to yourself.
Yeah. And it just becomes like Pavlov's dogs. It makes it to where it becomes a habit and becomes part of what you do. So. Yeah. And I know plenty of people that have done that and stuck with it. It's not the trendy diet, right, of mindset. It's something that they do daily. And when I look at them, I go, that's who I want to be. That's who I want to help other people to be.
That's good. That's
even though that's not what I do for a living.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, but that energy becomes contagious.
It does.
And it's still that giver's gain mentality.
It is.
And I think it's probably fair to say that people like to work with people that they get a good feeling from, right?
Absolutely. And when I drill down to what do I like about my job, do I like making logos? Yes. Do I like saying, I did that billboard? Absolutely. Do I like, creating websites and helping people grow their business? Yes. But I love the genuine connections. Yeah. And really, when you're branding yourself, you're making a genuine connection with the people who want your services. There's tons of people that do logos, right? Yeah. There's tons of people that do coaching. I mean, come on. It's about that connection. Yeah. And I think that's what sometimes gets overlooked in design and marketing and any kind of business is the true connection. Anybody could say, they're the best home inspector, they're the best widget maker, but the connections is what makes it work. Right. Yeah, it's a big thing that I know I try to impress upon people that you're not just selling a thing to a computer. I mean, there's some sort of need or want or something like that you're trying to fulfill. Yes, there's an amazing video that's very old from Apple about appealing to people's sensibilities and why they want a computer. You could buy a Dell way cheaper, especially back in the day. Right. But this is your need, and this is an emotional need. Yeah. And it's not tricking people. It's a truth that we're uncovering. Yeah. And that's what makes it really work. And it's just a neat. So the changes I've made in my life personally just really do coincide with what I do in my business. It's like this, and it can be with any business, I think. Mm-hmm. Genuineness and authenticity and connectivity and all that stuff. Now, so do you see a change too in terms of your how your daughter interacts with you? Yeah. Yes, I do. Again, that's a process. Yeah. And a bit of an uphill battle for both of us. Yeah. But when I tried to drop the judgments because it's not a perfect world and just accepted her for who she is, it became just an easier relationship. And there's like nothing to cover up and there's nothing to hide and there's no, I'm going to trick you into not wiping your face on your sleeve. Right, right. She, I don't think she's actually done that since we had that moment of connectivity. Yeah, yeah. So it's a stronger connection. You guys are feeling that emotion of connection much stronger. That's fantastic. Yeah.
and probably a lot of people's hope and dream. But we're getting tight on time, and I do want to make sure that you get a chance to talk a little bit more about your business, what you do, and how people can contact you if they'd like to know more about the designs or the billboards or those things that you were just talking about.
Sure,
so,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So we specialize in design and marketing, and again, building relationships with the people who you're trying to attract business from. So there's branding that goes into that, there's smart marketing that goes into that, and there's just drilling down into what you do best and what your niche is, not, service and quality in 1 minute, Chris says.
1 minute, hurry.
So madeyouluck.net is my website, and that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. I'm also on Facebook, and we can have a one-to-one.
Right,
we can talk. Let's be authentic and have a conversation.
Yeah. Well, you're big on the one-to-ones.
But, I like them.
Yes, so am I. So that was wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you being on the show, and it's some fantastic insights
Thank you.
That you had. So thank you. This has been Matt Barbie with Time for Success Business Owner Moms Edition. Where am I? What am I doing?
Who are you?
Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was fun.
Hi again, Lauren. Oh, she says she cannot love you more.
Oh, I love Lauren. Love her.
Oh.